Here's a quick introduction to OBS and some instructions about how to get the pastor's laptop and the Lyrics PC output into the OBS computer for streaming. Right now, we've got a pastor's PC and a Lyrics PC that go into a switch box, and that goes to projectors. The projectors are then picked up by the video camera, and that's how we're getting it in right now. The better way to do that would be to have the pastor PC, Lyrics PC, go to the switch box and then to an adapter that allows the VGA to be split off, one HDMI signal to the OBS PC, and then the VGA signal will continue to the projectors for the people inside the sanctuary. So that way we can get a clean capture and do a picture-in-picture type of thing on the OBS PC. And then you could zoom in on the camera and the camera on the pastor and get a better shot that way. So things that we're going to need to get. Start off with this is the adapter, this VGA to HDMI VGA adapter. This end would plug into the switch box. This end would continue on for the projector, and then this one would go to a video capture card, something like this one. Now, this one here, the PCIe, is the connection. That's this connection here. You need to make sure that the computer that you want to install that in has a slot that's PCIe. If we get this, if you go in this direction, it should be a lot better performance than this one, which is this is also a capture card, and it does the same type of thing. It goes to it, but it goes to a USB. In either case, once you have those things installed and connected up, then when you go into your OBS, it should show up as a video source. So on this, where you have the in and out, the same thing as this card here, in and out. Don't be confused that this is like a separate PC output. That just continues whatever signal goes in. So if the pastor's laptop is showing a PowerPoint going in, that's the only thing that's going to go out. This will not give you the ability to put another output from your standard computer applications, etc. Okay, so that's the way you should do it. That's a simple way to do it. If you wanted to do this with purely computer stuff, you might need to expand in such a direction. You need to get some plugins. And so there's, let me get back to that one. This is actually the plugin that does that. So that's an OBS NDI plugin. This allows a protocol that some advanced hardware and cameras have for communicating over a network. And so once you've installed this, this is for Unix, and you'd scroll down here for the installer for Windows or Mac. And then once you've got that installed, then you can go into your tools. Now, I should say, the first thing you need to do is install OBS on the computer that you want to send the signal from. So you'd actually have to install this on the pastor's laptop. You'd have to install OBS on the Lyrics PC. Then you would set up the OBS software on that PC to display the things that you want to send over. Then you would go to Tools and then NDI Output Settings and just click this, and it would then start outputting to an NDI signal on the network. Then you would go to the computer that you're doing your streaming from and add that, say, for example, the pastor's laptop as an NDI source. So you click here and then add an NDI source. Name that perhaps NDI laptop or something like that. At that point, you would see this drop down would show you everything that's NDI on the network. Since I don't have any NDI things running on my network, there's no sources that show up, but that's where you would find it. And the reason why I would not recommend that is because everybody who's got it on their computer, that computer has to be checked before you start to make sure everything's running correctly. And it's a lot more complexity, a lot more things to go wrong. But it does give you some flexibility, and if you've got enough talented people to do it, it'll look real nice. So let's take a look at some other things. Scenes and sources. So in your scenes, you can have different collections of scenes. So for example, you're going to do OBS for doing Sunday service, and maybe you do another one just for doing Zoom, for example. You can make a new scene collection for your Zoom meetings, and then that wouldn't be cluttered up with all these other things. It would be custom set up for that. Now, speaking of Zoom, the OBS software can get a plugin. Let's get back to the plugins. And it's a OBS virtual cam. And what this does is this basically converts the output of OBS so it appears to the operating system to be a webcam. Then if you go into your Zoom meeting or whatever else video conferencing stuff that you have, you can select it as a webcam. It'll just show up through the operating system as a webcam. So that's how we do that one. Other things that you can add, color source, for example, if you just want a background. See, I've got this green color source just to show you, and you could select whatever color you want. Just so you don't have to just make an image. So this is just a background for your convenience. Here's a picture of some shrimp, giant shrimp. So, you can click and drag to resize. Some people might not know that if you hold down the Alt key, you can use this for cropping. So that's good to know. Also, say for example, you've got Snoop Dogg over here, and he's a media source. But the problem is he's not looking in the direction of the center of this presentation. So if you right-click on the media source, which is this video, and then you transform, and then flip it horizontally. Now Snoop Dogg is looking in the proper direction, which is very important. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, yes, audio sources. So, audio input capture. If you go into your settings and your audio, and every device that you have selected is going to pop up in every scene. So a more advanced workflow is to disable all of these things and add them as a source. So it may be a simplified way to go ahead and add desktop audio. If you add your desktop audio, that anything that plays on that computer will come out as default in every one of your scenes, and all of your mic inputs, etc., which you probably would not be using in this application. But sort of a more advanced way to do is just disable all of these, so the default way they do not come up. So I'm going to cancel that. The downside is that you have to add this audio input capture. So in my case, I'm using sort of an advanced This is the voice meter aux output. Here is my voice meter banana software. This is a very complex bunch of software and requires its own training video. But basically here I've got this microphone here as an input. I'm sending it over here to this aux, which normally would go to Zoom, and I would just rename that. So now this is what's being picked up over here, audio input capture aux. So if I double click on that, that's the thing that I'm inputting. So that's how that works. So it's going to be on every one of my scenes. Another really important thing to use is studio mode. Now, if I want to explain how to do things, I can kind of click around and it really doesn't matter too much. But if you're doing a professional presentation, you're doing a Sunday presentation, you don't want to click between one thing and another to see what it looks like, because this is live and everybody's seeing whatever you're clicking on. So the way you would do that is you click into studio mode, and here on the right, the program is what's being broadcasted and streamed, and on the left is whatever you're selecting. So like here's that intro that I started on, and that's a preview of that. If I click to transition, then that's what you're going to see. And I'll go ahead and transition back. So another thing I wanted to show you about this, about scenes. You can add a scene to a scene. You can add it as a source. And that helps out if you have a bunch of things put together. Say, for example, a border around your camera, some other things like that. Maybe you've gotten a few different things put together that now you want to add another thing in the corner, etc. Then you can make the original scene, like you see over here. I have scene 1 and then scene 1A. So scene 1A, all that is scene 1 plus a light bulb, just to show you. So you just click on plus and add a scene, and it'll allow you to add any of those scenes that you already have. So I think that's all I have. Undo studio mute mode. That's all I got for now. And good luck with all your streaming.